Kirk, good morning. Business
Good
applications?
morning.
We just got that scare yesterday on Office 365. At least somebody is scared. Why not you?
I think if you look at what we were anticipating over the last couple of quarters, the idea that Office would decelerate a little bit, it doesn't come as a huge surprise. I think when you think about the durability of Microsoft's business longer term, Azure, the ability to keep upselling clients, from E3 to E5, even within the Office suite, we continue to believe this is a real durable grower. And I think in terms of software in general, what you think about with software is some of the secular trends powering the space are going to exist, regardless of where rates go over the next 6 to 12 months. The digitization of the enterprise, cloud adoption, Microsoft plays into a lot of these themes, and we continue to think it's a stock, that's going to perform relatively well in both, tough markets as well as in more growthy times for software.
Kirk, I wonder how you think Microsoft is doing in its vertical approach to some of these cloud and transformation technologies. The Nuance acquisition closed not too long ago. They and Google Cloud both seem to be trying to attack specific industry problems. And in the past, that has led to better margins in enterprise when software players are able to successfully do that. Is that working yet, or how are we going to be able to tell?
Yeah, I think it'll play out over a longer period of time, but I think the strategy makes a lot of sense, which is, cloud's gone from just sort of lifting and shifting workloads from on-prem to the cloud. It's really about solving business problems, being able to speak the language of industry, being able to help CEOs make business decisions that are based on cloud technologies where the world's going. I think all the big cloud providers are sort of shifting their go-to-market to more of a vertical context. And I think that does pay off. I think you have seen Microsoft have strength in areas like retail and other places where it has a bit of an advantage, perhaps, versus some of the competitors. And I think you'll continue to see all of them push in that direction to try to find ways to speak really to the line of business leaders, not just the IT leaders.
Kirk, of course, Google is still a distant third in cloud, but some have suggested that because of Office 365's dominance, that Google might stop trying to compete in that area and double down on cloud. Do you think that Microsoft has to worry about increased competition?
Well, I think on the Office productivity side, I think Microsoft's leads going to be tough to overcome for anybody.
On the
it's
cloud
just
side.
Incredibly sick. But on the cloud side, look, there's going to be a lot of competition. I think what we've all learned over the last 3 to 5 years on the cloud side is that the pie is growing at a rate to support a number of winners. And you've seen that. While Microsoft has gained market share on a percentage basis, AWS has maintained dollar share. And so, with Google, even Oracle coming into the market, the good news for all of them is that the pie is growing. This is a secular trend that still has legs. So I don't see competition as necessarily the risk anytime soon for Azure.
Hey, Kirk, then back to Microsoft really quick. I mean, if we're in an environment where people are starting to write about a slowdown in Office, where does it leave sort of the M&A mindset and the ability to dive into new verticals, Activision? I just wonder whether or not you think this is an area where they can continue to bolt on and add ancillary businesses.
My guess is that they will sort of focus on Activision in the near term. It's obviously a very large deal. I think what's interesting about software, if you looked at what's happened over the last sort of 3 months, has been that the dichotomy between sort of the short-term focus of the market and the long-term focus of, say, private equity investors who have come in and have found arbitrages that have sort of emerged, due to the sort of volatility and valuations. I think all the big strategic companies will obviously keep an eye on the market and look for opportunities. But I'd imagine that seeing a ton of strategic M&A is not exactly what we're expecting. We think it's going to be more financial sponsor driven, at least in the near term. But Microsoft's got a lot of cash. That optionality is one of the things I think is somewhat underappreciated with Microsoft over the long term.